Hey, what's going on, everybody? Outside the squared circle back again. I'm Frank. That's Dennis. And like we've said in videos past, we're going to be doing videos like we are today called Outside the Dialogue, where because we are, to our core, a podcast, we're just going to, kind of be talking about a multitude of things. And today, the first topic, because myself and Dennis got a little bit heated about this, not towards each other. We weren't arguing about it. We were just both showing passion towards the sport about belts in boxing, and more specifically, the WBA belt at 140, the light welterweight division. Now, as you guys know, Danny Garcia was the super champion of the WBA and WBC, but he said he relinquished those belts because he's moving up to 147 officially. Now, me and Dennis did a little bit of snooping, and we realized that he really didn't relinquish his WBA belt, which got us thinking what could be, what's going on, what just the whole situation just boggled our mind. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Dennis talk first on his thoughts and what he thinks about the whole thing.
Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, we could, like I said, we talked about this, so we was gonna call it outside the dialogue, but it might as well be outside the rant because I'm gonna rant a little bit. So let's go on this journey with me. I don't understand this. First of all, Danny Garcia, I understand it, but I don't understand it. Danny Garcia said he's vacating his WBC title, and now I was curious about that because I said, "Oh yeah, he's the WBC and WBA. Why didn't he think about the WBA?" So, as you said, we did a little bit of research on it, and he's still the super champ, which means he's the only champ. I'm going to dive into that. The super champ, and Jesse Vargas, who's fighting a fight at 147, is the regular champion. So, with that being said, first off, why did he only vacate one title? If you're the unified champion and you're moving up to a different weight class, not like you're going to fight one fight and then you come back down. He said he didn't get stripped. He vacated because he's going up. So that means, at least for the foreseeable future, he's going to be fighting at 147. Why in the world do you need one belt still at 140? Is it because he thinks he might fail and he might have to move back down, and when he moves back down, he can still be a champion, which he should not be allowed to because that's not how the game's supposed to be played?
No.
And does it mean that he makes the WBA so much money, they still want him to be the name, still a franchise holder of the belt, which shouldn't be fair because there are plenty of other guys down there at 140 deserve a title shot? Tell me, I don't get it.
Hey, I think.
Go ahead.
To be honest with you, I think it's both. I think one, and to your first point with him moving up to 147, he might be scared. Not scared. I don't like to use the word scared, but they might not have full faith that he can compete at 147 or be what he was at 140. I think that plays a big role into it, and we've seen it though, because as soon as he beat Lucas Matisse a few years ago, that was at 140. He hasn't fought at 140 since. He's been fighting at 141. 142, 143, which is technically welterweight. So when you see his reluctancy to move up to 147, someone is chirping in his ear saying, "Hey, Danny, don't go up yet." For whatever reason, it is clear that he's struggling to make 140. He looked like a skeleton at 140 against Matisse.
But this even bring me to this: if he hasn't even fought at 140 solid in say 2 fights, he hasn't defended that stinking WBA anyway.
In like 2 years,
so
yeah.
He's gonna go up. What is it gonna be? He's gonna be he's really gonna be the super WBA champion when he hasn't fought for it in 7 years, and he's still gonna be the guy that holds it.
Right.
I mean, it's plenty of guys at 140 that get to fight for that belt. Why is his name still attached to it if he's no longer gonna fight in that division? And if he decides he wants to come back down, he should still have to come and beat whoever becomes the champion that's gonna fight for it. I don't understand it. Like, we're going to keep your bed warm for you. Whenever you want to come lay in it, we're going to make it up, put a little mint on the pillow. And when you're ready to come back and lay in this bed again, it's going to be nice and comfortable for you. No, that's not how it's supposed to work.
No.
I'm with Floyd in this. Floyd said that it just has boxing has too many belts, and it don't make any sense. You shouldn't have a regular, an interim, a regular, and a super. That's 3 different people for one belt, let alone there's 4 belts in each weight class.
So as I'm
Are
saying,
you kidding
that's
me?
12 champions in each of the major organizations within. How does that work? That's ridiculous.
F it, everybody's a champion. There are no contenders
You're
anymore.
right. Everyone, just
You're
give
all
everybody a
champion.
belt. Just give
I
everybody.
swear, it's like my 4-year-old soccer. Whether you win or lose, everybody gets a trophy.
Right. It's like Oprah. You get a belt. You get a belt. You get a belt. You get a belt. Everybody gets a belt. That's it's ridiculous with that. But let's go ahead and segue and keep on with Danny Garcia. So
I don't know, man.
let's say he's fighting Paulie August 1st, right? Now, onto a little bit of a separate note. If Paulie has anything left in the tank, I think he gives Danny hell. I really do. But that's besides the point that I'm trying to make. So let's say he beats Danny, right? Probably on the cards, maybe even knockout, whatever. He wins the fight. So who would you want to see Danny fight next at 147 if he beats Paulie?
I was thinking about, and I know Bob has his already plans for him. I wanted to see, but I don't even know if they're cross. I kind of really wanted to see him fight Saddam Ali.
Okay.
Either Saddam Ali, and I know not many people. I just feel like Danny can work his way up until he can slowly conquer names.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe if he can't get a Saddam Ali, why not Danny versus like Devin Alexander? You know what I mean? Let's let him work his way up. Let's not. We don't want to. I know people just want to throw him in there. Let's give him Thurman. You know what I mean? Let's give him Porter. But Danny's still young. He's gonna have plenty of time to fight those guys. It's gonna be pay-per-view when it happens. You know, we don't need to see that right away. Let's not say that's why they threw him in there against Paulie. You know what I mean? Although Paulie's a very skilled vet that can possibly win this, he absolutely could win it. But he's not he's not the major puncher that's gonna go in there and knock him out.
Right.
So that's why I say let's put him in there against guys that are pretty skilled, you know, or either up and coming. But we don't need to put him in against any guys that's world beaters right now.
See, and that's actually we don't disagree on much, and that's one thing that I disagree with. Now, had he moved up right after the Matisse fight, I agreed with you because I remember we were even talking back then, and I was like, if he moved up to 147, we both said he should fight Paulie, because Paulie, that was before Paulie got knocked out by Porter. I think he had just beat Zab Judah at the time. So we're like, okay, that's a solid test for Danny. Let's see how he handles 147. Let's see how he handles, you know, Paulie's moving style, because he didn't really get exposed yet with Herrera with movers. So, you know, but at this point, with him crawling his way up to 147, after this Paulie fight, to me, he's got to start fighting bigger names. He was exposed against Herrera, and you know it's funny because they treated that Herrera fight like it was a loss. He fought Herrera and then immediately had a tune-up, like he just didn't defend his belt against her. No, exactly. That's right. That's the point I'm saying. So it's like, so you know, I mean, he's been crawling his way to 147 after this Paulie fight, man. Especially if he wins in dominant fashion, he needs to get in there against a Porter, against maybe a Maidana, maybe a Kell Brook.
If he goes in there and blows him out, then we can step it up a notch. You know what I mean? Above Paulie, I would say.
See, I don't know, man. I mean, we're talking. Like I said, I would have agreed some years ago. Just to me now, he's almost become an enigma because he was supposed to be the next big thing after he beat Matisse. You know, he was supposed to be. I mean, because Matisse was the boogeyman at 140. Everyone thought he would knock Danny out. I thought he would knock Danny out. That's what I mean. His name has been brought up in the past to fight Floyd, where it would be, you know, the best 140 pounder versus the best 147 pounder. It's time for him to prove his name, or what his name has become. You know, he's took a really downward slope at this point in his career.
Oh, you know something? A light bulb just come out of my head. You know what? You're right on something. I am ready for him to see a big fight, only because of this person. I am itching. I am freaking itching for Khan versus Danny Garcia too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's a good fight.
I do not think he beats him at 147. That's just me.
I don't know. He might not, but at the same time, had Khan looked a lot more impressive.
Do you want to see that?
I do want to see that. I think that'd be a hell of a fight. I mean, I think Khan has showed some improvement since he's fought him, but I think had Khan looked a lot more impressive against Chris Algieri, I think more people would be calling for that fight. But Khan just has a way of, sometimes he looks so damn impressive, and it's like, man, put him in there against Floyd. And then he fights, like he did against Chris Algieri, where it seems like when it's his time to impress, he doesn't impress. When everything is set for him, when the table's set, when the dinner's ready to be eaten, he's just like, nah, I don't want that. Give me a salad. Like, come on, dude. Like, you were supposed to absolutely dominate Chris Algieri. You know what I mean? He was supposed to 12-0 shut him out, maybe even get a late knockout.
I've been hearing, and this is here. So I've been hearing that maybe Khan held back so Floyd would take the fight because they didn't want him to look too dangerous to Floyd. Like, oh no, I'm definitely not going to fight him. They wanted Khan to have some vulnerability so Floyd can be like, I see some things I can exploit.
Yeah. That's funny. They used to say that about Manny Pacquiao back in the day. Do you remember that? Oh, well, he didn't look too good against Joshua Clottey because he wants Floyd to get. I want to ask a fighter when we start getting bigger name fighter or any fighter. I want to ask them, do you really do that? Do you kind of let yourself get hit or kind of seem a little bit vulnerable to let these higher dudes start looking down at you like, okay, I'll take the chance?
Supposedly GGG did that.
Yeah.
Against Monroe, he let him hit him all those numerous times.
Here's the thing. Hey, here's the thing on that. There was one round in particular, I can't remember which one, where he was literally, his hands were down and he was saying, continue to hit me. Before that, he was not allowing himself to get hit. He was getting tagged with some really, really good left hands. Monroe is a solid fighter, and he was getting him. He has decent hand speed, decent foot movement, and he just tagged Gennady. There's nothing to be ashamed of that. You know what I mean? Gennady was dominating the fight, but I don't know. That whole thing was just kind of funny with him saying that, because I think a lot of people took it for face value because he's not really that good in English. I don't think he meant literally every time he got hit, he allowed him to get hit. You know what I mean? But there was a certain moment in that fight where I remember vividly with him with his hands down. He got hit with two good left hands. He left his hands down and was like, come on, keep hitting me. And then the crowd started going crazy. They were like, oh, it was like a super hot fire battle. They were just like, ah, and they were going nuts. So that was pretty cool. I think that was what he was referencing.
Well, I definitely, you know what? Like I said, I just want to rant about stuff. All right, like I was saying, we got two cable guys. You know what? And the thing is this: I try to respect everybody because when you step in that square circle, you know what? You have heart. That gives you the right over a lot of people. I've been in that before, but I've never been in that at a world competition level, and I've never been in that as a pro. So you know what? I respect anybody that does it. They have a ton of heart. They have my respect, even if they're not the best of fighters. But these two guys I just seriously don't know. I mean, Frank, do you know these guys is fighting for Lamont Peterson IBF title?
Yeah, Ike Yang versus Jose Reina Cuenca, I believe, are fighting in that China card. Mickey Bay was supposed to be on the undercard, like you said. We think he's dropped out of that. But I've never heard of Yang. I have no idea who Yang is. Now, I pride myself on knowing a lot of lesser known fighters, or just a lot of fighters in general. I know a lot of contenders. I've never heard of Ike Yang in my life. I have no idea. He doesn't have a notable win. I've looked at it, looked at his record, looked him up on YouTube. I've never heard of the guy. Cuenca I have heard of. I believe he was supposed to fight Paulie sometime last year. I could be wrong on that, but I know his name was mentioned against a few different fighters. He's a guy, I've never seen him fight either. He's a guy I know. He's 47-0. He only has 2 knockouts, so he doesn't have much power. Maybe that's why we never.
Wait, say it again. Say it again. What?
He's 47-0 with 2 knockouts.
How is that possible?
I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know how they're fighting for Lamont Peterson's belt. Now, by all means, Lamont Peterson needed to be. To vacate that belt. I mean, it was, he held on to that belt through. I mean, he might as well have been in the San Andreas movie with that belt, just floating all over in the water and just buildings colliding. He went through.
Only guy I know can consistently lose and still be a champion.
He lost with that belt too many damn times. But with that said, I would almost rather him still have the belt than have these two dudes fight for it. And like you said, no disrespect to them. They're pro fighters. They get in the ring for our entertainment. But did they really earn the shot? I've never heard of them. They don't have any notable wins. They haven't fought anyone that I know of in the top 10 at welterweight. So
I mean, that's how it is. Like I usually draw, even if a guy's not a big name, I'm actually able to look at a guy record and say, well, I know he fought this in this fight, and I can go back. Or usually, because I love every fight from just the amateur fights. I love all fights. I've usually at least heard a guy if I haven't seen him. I don't know these guys.
Yeah.
It makes me feel kind of bad. Like I need to do a little bit more homework. Like these guys about to fight for a title. One of them will be a champion.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I have no clue who they are. So,
but with that said,
it's gonna be weird.
But with that said, are they gonna be the super champion or are they the regular champion? What are they fighting for?
Well, I can't like IBF only has one title holder. That's one thing I can't say about the IBF.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
They only have one title holder. So they're gonna be the one title holder, and then you know what I mean.
Right.
Hopefully, we can get a guy like Upshur to fight for them for the title because hell, I know Upshur has notable. He has notable wins. He has fights that people know.
Right.
He's fought Birdo. So you know what I'm saying, I would love to see him fight those guys for the title because I don't know them guys. I don't know. Well, I wish him luck, but.
Yeah, no, same here. I speak nothing negative about them. It's just the fact that I've never, and me being a hardcore, and you yourself being a hardcore boxing guy, I mean, I should at least, I mean, I have heard of Cuenca, but even that, I haven't seen him fight. He hasn't fought anyone notable. But with that said, hopefully we can get Upshur back on here and talk to him about that. But just a quick segue, speaking of the IBF title, we know that at 147, Kell Brook has the IBF title. What do you think? I mean, what should be next for him? His name's being talked about to fight Floyd. Do you think that? Do you think he has a chance in that fight? Do you think that could be a good fight?
I think he, just because of his range, I think he'll have a chance not to get shut out 12-0, but a chance to win it. I don't think the styles match well.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Style make fights. I don't think he has the style to beat Floyd. He's not, I don't see him coming in there because he likes to counter punch. You know what I mean?
Right. He's the
guy that's laid back. He can counter punch you. You know, he can make you pay. You know what I mean? But I don't see him coming in there being a dog and taking it from Floyd because you just can't. You're not gonna just go in there and get a decision. You got to go take it from Floyd. And I don't see him just taking it from him. You know what I mean? He's not that type of fighter to me. Even though we seen him get fighters out of there, that's after he realized that hey, this guy's not on my level. Let me get him going. But the Floyd's above his level, so that's not going to happen. But I just wanted to see him against Rios. So I'm kind of looking forward to that because style make fights. And I know people say, well, Rios is too slow. You know, he's going to get counter punched to death. But you know what? Rios can punch, and Rios has a ton of heart. And if Rios is focused, and he can come there and pressure him, he can make that a fight, man.
Well, see, you know, the thing that bothers me when people talk about people like Rios, or even just a lot of come forward, very pressurized, that's not a word, but just pressure fighters. People like I mean,
today.
Yeah. I mean, you heard a lot of the same things with Margarito. What people actually don't realize, though, is that, I mean, look at Rios, look at Margarito. Now, that style of fighter, especially in Margarito's case, but Brandon Rios has a lot of the same qualities. He has infinite stamina. He's going to keep coming forward. He's going to pressure you and pressure you and pressure you. So what a fighter like that does, it makes the fighter that he's fighting have to fight every second of every round. So yeah, maybe Brandon Rios doesn't have the best jab. Maybe Brandon Rios doesn't have the best head movement. Maybe he gets hit a little bit too much. Maybe he's not the best technical boxer, and all that is true. But when you keep continuously coming forward like that, you can break down your opponent that way. Because while you're coming forward, or while you know Brandon Rios is coming forward like that, he's not just not landing punches. He's getting body shots in. He's making that fighter move. He's testing that stamina. So I think, just like you said, I think that's a really interesting fight. Can Kell Brook counter him to death? Yeah, he can. But at the same time, we haven't seen Kell Brook taken to deep water since he fought Sean Porter. And Sean Porter, the thing with Sean Porter is that he smothers his punches a lot, and Sean's inside game isn't as good as Brandon Rios. So we're going to see a guy like Brandon Rios who's going to get on the inside like that and fight like a dog. Because he might have the best inside game at 147 with that said, actually. His inside game is impeccable. He's one of the only dudes that I can think of off the top of my head that has a very good inside game at 147. So I think it's interesting. I mean, there's certain people who are saying, you know, Brandon Rios doesn't deserve the fight. Well, all these other welterweights are fighting right now. I mean, we're not going to get the Thurman versus Brook fight because Brook's waiting on, Brook's got the Collazo fight coming up, and Kell Brook wants to fight soon.
Sorry, man.
That you know what I mean? That's what I mean. So what are we going to do? You can't just continue to sit and wait around for people. You have to stay busy. So I think Brandon Rios is a great fight. for Kell Brook.
Yeah, I don't mind the fight. I know people. I hear people saying that. I really don't mind the fight at all. You know what I mean? Brandon Rios, he's an ex-champion. You know what I mean? So I really don't mind the fight against him and Kell Brook. It's not like who Kell Brook. Only person he beat that is worth noted is Porter.
Sean Porter.
You know what I mean? That's the only person. That's the only person. Other than that, he beat what? Frank Gavin. And then after that, he going to be the JoJo Den. So it's not like, well, Kell has beat this guy and this guy and this guy.
Right.
Why should he fight Brandon Rios? Brandon Rios is right up his alley at this point. You know what I mean? So I definitely don't mind that fight. But you know what? That's when I think of Brandon Rios, just because they fought 3 times, I can't help but to think of Mike Alvarado's.
Yeah.
Do you think he's retired?
Alvarado?
You think he's done?
He's got to be done, man. Look at his last few fights. He fought. First of all, I didn't think he had any business fighting Juan Manuel Marquez. I just want to throw that out there. I don't think he had any business, and not from a disrespectful. I just mean for where he was in his career. He's taken a lot of punishment. And then we saw it in the third fight with Rios, where Rios just absolutely battered him. I mean, that wasn't even a fight. That was Brandon Rios was fighting a punching bag at that point. He's got to retire. You could hear it even afterwards. In the post-fight interview, I don't remember exactly what he was saying, but I remember him saying something like, well, you know, I didn't get that good of a training camp and this, but
I think he was high, man.
He
had a lot of problems, you know what I'm saying, with the law. I think he was just like on drugs, just like
he might have brain damage or something, like Jermaine Taylor, just going crazy.
Man, yeah, what Jermaine, like, man, like that saddens me. The man won a title, then just went Vietnam vet, war wacky. Hey, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at the guy, but the guy was in the bathtub saying, "You guys are disappointing me. When I went to the parade, they ain't had no daughter for my, they ain't had no candy for my daughter at the Martin Luther King parade. I'm disappointed in y'all."
I know.
What did you just say?
Didn't he bring a gun to it? He was like, y'all, I can't believe this is the Martin Luther King rally. Our parade. You need candy from my over candy, bro. Like chill out. He was in there strapped. He was in there strapped like Rambo.
He was just making it up. He had the best insane plea ever. If you watch that tape, you could be like, he's mentally insane.
Yeah, right.
Let's go ahead and not take this guy to jail. He needs to be somewhere where he's hugging himself.
No, yeah, but speaking of Jermaine and brain damage, man, he needs help. But you know what, though? That was crazy is that a lot of people actually predicted, not him going crazy like that, but that he would have brain issues because when he retired the first time around after he had, he lost the Pavlik. Yeah, he had internal bleeding of the brain. And I mean, that's not good to come back from. I think he should have stayed retired, even though he did make a solid comeback, but a lot of people predicted him having troubles, with his brain, with just his.
I think he needed the money.
Oh yeah, I mean that's.
I'm not sure.
I would say so. I mean, why else would you come back from something that dangerous? I mean, that you're talking about. That's not anything to play with. He could die from that. If that happens again, he could die. That's not. He must have absolutely needed the money for him to come back from internal bleeding of the brain. Who was he?
I hope he's healthy.
He was supposed to fight somebody.
That paycheck.
Who was
to fight Sergio Mora, and
Sergio Mora. I was looking forward to that fight. He's fighting Danny Jacobs.
Yep.
On the undercard.
Which Danny Jacobs is he's okay. Look, okay. I'm not going to pretend anymore. Danny Jacobs is a terrific fighter, but he's not the champion. GGG is the champion. I'm not playing this game.
Yes.
I'm not playing the super champ interim game. I'm not playing.
I'm right there with you.
I refuse to play the super title game. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny?
He's a good fighter.
Speaking about Danny Jacobs, and shout out to BoxingScene.com. I go there often and post on their forum. Someone actually made a thread the other day. I might have been a week or two ago, and they said, "Well, what's up with Danny Jacobs? He's a champion." Well, wait, just bear with me here, Dennis. I understand how we both feel, but they said, look, they said he's a champion, and he's not fighting anybody now. Everyone, tries to discredit Gennady Golovkin for his opponents. Why aren't we doing the same thing? Or they even said also, they said we discredit Gennady Golovkin and we discredit Who's the other kid? Kid Chocolate. Quillen. They said we discredit Quillen at 160 and we discredit Gennady Golovkin for their opposition and their champions. Why aren't we doing the same for Danny Jacobs? And everyone was like, look, dude, it's simple. He had cancer. He beat cancer. He can do. They were basically making it, out to be he has the ultimate lifeline. He doesn't have to fight anyone. Just the fact that he's fighting again is enough for me to respect him.
That's enough.
Right. He made his way back from cancer, and even if he never fights at the elite level, like a Gennady Golovkin or a Quillen or a Martin Murray. So I mean, what do you think? I personally agreed with that. I was like, you know what? You're right. He beat cancer. He could fight tomato cans for all I care. Good on him. You know what I mean? You can't. Many people don't live.
They really wanted to have him be a champion of some sort.
Yeah.
Because the fact that a guy came back from cancer, like. Let's give this guy a title. He deserves to be called champ.
Right.
After a feat like that, he deserves it.
Right.
So I feel like that's more or less the sentiments of the whole situation. And for the purposes of him going down the history, he'll go down the history as a champ, whatever. But I personally just don't view only the super champs, which I'm not even going to call only the champs, only the real champs, not regular champs. Only the real champs are the champs. GGG is a real champ.
I agree.
Demetrius Andrade is a real champ. You know what I mean?
I agree. Hey, speaking of Gennady Golovkin, let's talk a little bit about him. Now, there are people who crown him as just the baddest man on the planet right now. He's Mike Tyson status to some people. And then to others, he's a complete bum who hasn't proven anything. I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle. I feel like the opposition that he has fought has been solid. It hasn't been great, but he has some decent names on there. And at the same time, I don't think he is. I mean, I think he's the best middleweight in the world, but I don't think he's, I just don't think he's the next great thing yet. I'm a fan of his. I like Gennady Golovkin, but I think some people are putting him on too high of a pedestal. Where do you stand when it comes to that?
He's beating everybody that they put in front of him.
Right.
Is it the best absolute competition out there? No. But with that being said, the absolute best competition hasn't wanted to fight him because I think I looked at it and it's kind of a catch-22 because it's like the best competition that you haven't fought nobody. But I can't fight nobody if the best guys don't want to fight me.
Exactly.
You see how I just kind of just like...
Exactly.
I understand that. Like, you haven't fought nobody. Well, you don't deserve me. Well, then fight me so I can say I deserve to fight somebody. Well, then fight somebody that you can say you deserve to fight me. It's
exactly.
back and forth like that. But with that being said, I think he's the best middleweight because Cotto's no middleweight.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's be real about it. He's no middleweight. And he's the lineal champ right now. So... with that being said, he's the best 160-pounder in the world, and in fact, I think honestly, I'm looking at his future. I think he has a chance to be really good and a really good multi-division champion because I think he'll win at 168 too. He won't be bored. He won't. No, that's my opinion. He won't be bored. But can he win a title at 168? Yeah, I think he can go beat the Gale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think he'd beat Froch at this point in his career too.
I was about to say that. I think he can beat Froch. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think he can beat those caliber fighters. I think he can move up and beat. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think his height translates to 175. But say if he moved down to 154, I think he definitely could be a champ there. So I think he could be a 3-division champion. Which will still be and if he do it in a terrific fashion and beat the best caliber guys there, I think that he'll be Hall of Fame worthy at the end of his career. But he will have some losses.
Yeah.
Especially if he goes up and stays up, he will have some losses.
Yeah.
But that will not take away from the fact that he's exciting, and that he'll go in there and he'll be willing to fight. Because he doesn't seem like a guy that he won't want to fight anybody. He'll be willing to fight anybody.
I agree, and I hope that doesn't change once he is the main attraction, where guys are going to be coming to him rather than him coming to them.
Exactly.
Because once that happens, I mean, we've seen people change like that. I'm not trying to knock anyone. I'm not trying to knock Floyd fans, but we know that that's kind of what the road that Floyd went. And by all means, he can do that. He's the money man. He can pick who he wants to fight. He's entitled to that. That's true. I mean, I just hope Gennady doesn't take that road. I want to see him take on all challengers a la Sergio Martinez. He was trying to fight the best even when he was the champion. He still felt like he had something to prove. Now, but going back to your point, actually, I'm not so sure. I've always said that the only person in my mind right now that beats Gennady Golovkin is Andre Ward. Now, Andre Ward looked great in his return against Paul Smith. He completely outclassed them. I mean, dude was a cable guy, like you like to call him. But I don't know if he has enough snap on those punches. At that fight was at 172. To be fair, he wasn't at his comfortable weight class of 168. But nothing he really threw seemed to hurt Paul Smith. And we've seen Gennady take some.
He wasn't like throwing a power like you like that and knock him straight out. It was just popping, yeah. I know. But that's the thing about Ward. What is it gonna go on? I don't like even with whether Ward fights the Crusher, Kovalev, or whether he fights GGG.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to knock either one of them out.
Right, I agree.
He's simply just going to outclass him and get a decision.
Right. And see, but that's...
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, in doing that, though, you have to earn a fighter's respect because if... Like look at Paulie Malignaggi, for example. Had he had power, I don't think he'd have as many losses as he does. Because from a pure boxing standpoint, he's great. His footwork's great. His hand speed's great. He just doesn't have enough power to keep a lot of guys off of him. So that's the point I'm making, is that I really want to see Ward, what he can do to keep Gennady off him, because Gennady's a dog. Gennady's going to continuously come forward. Now, with that being said, I still favor Ward in that fight. I think he's the better overall boxer. But I want to see it even more now. I was actually in the minority of not wanting to see that fight at first. Not right away anyway. I mean, I want Gennady to stay at 160 for a little while, and I actually wanted to see Ward move up to 175 and fight a Stevenson or a better Biev or a Kovalev. But, I think the report is now that he's staying down at 168, which I'm kind of disappointed in, but that's a different story. But now, after seeing the Paul Smith fight, I'm actually really want to see Gennady Golovkin versus Ward. Hopefully we can get that next year. That would be wonderful.
I want to go back to the point that you were saying. Ward punching power.
Yeah.
Ward isn't the type of guy he doesn't have one punch knockout power.
Right.
But you know what he reminds me of? Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Because Floyd Mayweather isn't the biggest puncher, but you know what? Why come a guy like Canelo, that big strong kid, and just run? Why didn't he just run through Mayweather?
Right.
He has something they can respect.
Exactly.
That's Ward. Ward's gonna have something that both Kovalev and GGG can respect. You're not gonna want to eat a whole hell of a lot of them, because he may not knock you out with just one, but if you eat 13 of those,
yeah, punches hurt.
You know what I mean? You can exactly.
Right.
So that's why he reminds me of Floyd with that mentality. Because everyone say, "Well, Floyd can't punch. He's no puncher." Well, why nobody just runs right through him?
Right. Exactly. Because we've seen, like I said, we've seen that with Paulie. We've seen that with Paulie. Mm-hmm. Sean Porter absolutely ran through Paulie because none of his punches hurt him. He felt nothing that night, and he was able to run right through him. And we don't. And you're right. We don't see that with Ward or Mayweather. But the point that I was making that I kind of didn't make very well was that we've seen Gennady Golovkin take punches and just continuously come forward. I mean, we saw it against Gil, who doesn't have much punching power. We saw it against.
But Ward is a bigger guy naturally, though.
He is right. He is. I'm not trying to make direct comparisons here. I'm just saying that's what it's intriguing to me now, because I think that Gennady can take everything that Ward dishes out. So now I'm interested to see how Ward counters that. Does he clinch a little bit more? Does he vary up his punches a little bit more? Does he go to the body a little bit more? Because to me, Ward will find a way to win that fight. I like both fighters. I'm a fan of both fighters, but Ward is just so much more well-rounded. Or I should say better well-rounded, because Gennady is a very well-rounded fighter as well. So I'm interested. I think it's a styles clash, and I think that the both of them are going to bring it if they do fight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. That was our first segment of Outside the Dialogue. We can go forever and ever and ever. We're going to keep giving you more of this. We just got tons of stuff we want to talk about. And this should intrigue you and get your boxing, your boxing intellect to just get the tingling and want to get into this. So, as we always ask you, subscribe, like, share, get in those comments. Let us know what you want to talk about. Let us know what you think about what we talked about. Hey, guys, I'm going to give a shout-out to Boxing 4 Fights. Boxing videos, only 4 fights. Give them a like. They're a great They're a very great site. You'll love them. I love them. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the first edition of this. We're going to keep giving you more and more of what you love and like. I'm Dennis Ragg, and that's Frank Nass. God bless everybody.